what can I say in front of my sisters that they don't already know? What can I say in front of the comrades, in front of colleagues, in front of friends who already know what I work on? When I'm put in that position, usually I say, well, if I speak with an accent, then it will sound differently. But many of you have accents. So, but seriously, first of all, it's an honor to be in front of you here. And it's really a pleasure and a humbling experience to be in front of so many comrades, so many sisters who have done so much. And I think we have come a long, long way. We have come a long way from a time where women had no voting rights, where women could not inherit, at least in some parts of the world, where women needed to get the approval of their husbands to get a credit card, to a time where women are not only voting but running for presidential elections, where women are owning lands and CEOs and companies, where women sometimes have too many credit cards sometimes. But we have come a long way. In my personal story, I have come a long way from my grandmother, who was married at the age of 13 and could not go to school and was impregnated very fast and living under the suppression of her in-laws, to my mother, who graduated from college and who worked and who struggled all her life between what does it mean to be a mother and a wife and what it means to be a working woman and an independent woman as her desire were. To me, who was married and divorced and married and divorced, and none of that impacted my marital status, did not impact my ability to live fully my truth. None of that impacted how I see myself, how the world sees me. I am here because of who I am, not because of my connections to my marriage or children or anything like that. We have come a long way thanks to the generations before us, some of you here, some of you not here, who have led us to the point where we are today. And for that generation, for their struggle, for their work, for all the accomplishments, we need to even show more tribute, more gratitude, more thanks and appreciations for the work that happened before us to help us come where we are today here. And we need to take that moment of appreciation. And we still have a long way to go. If this is a mountain, I feel we are in the middle of the mountain. I could see the peak, but we are not at the peak yet. We are still the marginalized majority. Women still represent 2/3 of the most impoverished population in the world. We still own only less than 2% of the land in the world, even though women represent 70% of the farmers in the world, produce 90% of the main staples food in the world, and earn less than 10% of income. Women still have only 18% of political representation all over the world. That means parliaments and Congress and all of that. Women still are paid 17% less for doing equal jobs as that of men. Women are only 3% of decision makers in the media and are only 2.2% of signatories to peace agreements. And still, 1 out of 3 women suffer from violence, any form of violence. And as we speak today, hundreds of thousands of Congolese women are getting raped today. And in that story, nothing has changed. From World War II, where 900,000 women were raped in Germany, to 1971, where 400,000 Bangladeshi women were raped, to 1993, where 20,000 Bosnian women were raped in rape camps, to 1994, 400,000 Rwandese women raped in 100 days, to as we speak today, there are hundreds of thousands of our sisters getting raped in Congo, among other countries. I think the world has been numb to violence against women. We have become just another woman who suffers yet one more marginalization, yet one more act of violence. We have been disproportionately impacted by every single crisis in the world, yet our voices have not been fully represented at the decision-making table. And it is time to change that. It is time to create a global women's movement. Building on our national women's movement, it is time to unite together and change all of what we just mentioned. For the long. The financial crisis, the change that we are living on this time, presents an opportunity for us, an opportunity that we must take. I think I would argue the train is perhaps halfway already out of the station, and we need to capture the entail of it, and we need to act fast. Growing up and living in war-torn Iraq, and later focusing all my life on working with women survivors of wars, I have learned that with every misfortune, there is a fortune. In my personal life, with every divorce, with every violence, with every poverty, with every act of homelessness, or every disconnection from my own family for 20 years, every misfortune that happened to me has led to a fortune. And I believe that. And today we have an opportunity. And we have the opportunity, yes, brought upon the misfortune of the crisis in the world, but we must capture it. And we must capture it very, very fast. Now the secret becomes, or the question, with what? Which issue? And I propose we focus on the one issue that everyone is consumed by women and the economy. Everyone, we are living in a time where people are thinking about their values, are thinking about the economic structure, are thinking about reforms, but not acting much on it, I would say. We have more data and more research and more records, not from only us, but from institutions whose goals is not women's rights, whose goals is just economic prosperity and sustainability, who are connecting from Japan to Latin America to Cameroon and the rest of Africa, connecting women's full economic citizenship to GDP growth and economic stability. Now, I am not arguing that I'm not talking about microcredit for women. I am not talking about let's make more microcredit available for women, though there is nothing wrong with it. I am talking about macro and micro. I am talking about women's representation in Wall Street and at the factories. I am talking about management and farmers. I am talking about women at decision-making levels and women who are doing the actual work on a day-to-day level. This is time to elevate the discussion from the only solution to women as microcredits to the solutions for women are macro issues, macro policies, macro strategies, and lots more macro investments in economic opportunities for women.